Restaurant Unstoppable. Inspire, empower, and transform the industry.
What were the key elements about menu engineering that you learned during this time, and things like just common things that, or things that you know that you just think surprisingly just aren't common knowledge when it comes to menu engineering?
Yeah, honestly, looking at actual data, like looking at sales, like, hey, this we love this menu item. We're really invested in this menu item, but it's not selling. Now, why is it not selling? Did we not describe it well? Are the staff not really invested in explaining it, or do they even explain the menu to anybody at all? Really looking at sales and data, right? So that's sort of that. Once that unlock happened for me, I went all in. I got real interested in analytics. The leadership, the ownership, that was a family business. And on the corporate side too, right? In the corporate stores, when you would get your daily prep and your weekly sales reports, and in corporate you have a lot of limited offers, right? LTOs. So they're going to roll a commercial out, for X new item, seasonal item, or new invention item, and so there was always pressure around making those work, spiffing that sale to the sales floor, to the servers.
What's the reason for that, though? When you have an LTO, limited time offer, why is there so much pressure to make them work?
Well, generally because they're trying to drum up a lot of business in a short period of time, right? They're trying to really spike up the sales in a short period of time and take advantage of whether it's a season or a holiday, right? And you're thinking about the TGI Fridays and Olive Gardens of the world type environment, right? Chili's and Macaroni Grill. They're having to do something to competitively bring people back in and give them something new. And generally they're going to engineer those to be a fairly profitable item, right? It's going to be a low-cost production item that they can get a $19.95 steak out of that costs them $3.
So what's the psychology behind that? Why is it so important to do a limited time offer, which is something you see a lot of corporations and chains do? They're always trying to get your attention with something, but what's going on there? Like, what's the psychology?
Shiny wheel, right? The shiny object. Can I get your attention and have you come try something that you would not be able to or doesn't exist somewhere else? I mean, the McRib, right? Why does it keep coming back every X years on a schedule? It's just grabbing attention. It's just another story to tell. It's a new story or the same old story to recycle,
it's
right?
a way to create juxtaposition in what you're already doing. Like, look, something new and special. And it's only a limited time offer, so you better come in soon.
Right.
And it's just a way when you have a set menu that doesn't change often. It's a way to create a sense of maybe FOMO or just to pull people in.
Right. Yeah. And they are. You'll notice not so much at the corporate level. The McDonald's of the world still do them, but they do them a lot less. They put more thought and time and energy into whether they'll kind of work preemptively and what they'll get out of it, because I think as a people we've evolved a little bit beyond that trick. Like, we've learned that trick, and so I think we want as consumers, we want to connect better and more meaningfully with businesses in general. We want there to be a story. So I think that rather than really focusing on what's the next new shiny object, really now we're talking about storytelling, right? Now we're talking about really understanding what the menu item is, where did it come from, who's inspiring it, why did we make a decision to put that on there, what's unique about it, who's that for? Is that when you have a menu, if it's got a fair amount of variety to it, what you're trying to do is cover the whole demographic of that micro market. You're trying to say that we've got something for you, and the only way for people to know about it is if you tell a story around it. So we're seeing more of that, and I think that is resonating and giving it longer legs rather than this thing's only around for 30 days or 45 days. We've got something, we've done a menu, we have a reason behind it, we want you to understand what's on it, and we're going to tell the story around each thing.
Why do you think there was this shift of going towards just a kind of like, shiny object, the approach of just like, let's just try to catch your attention right now, to this approach that you're talking about, impact, depth, story? What's going on there? Why is that the evolution of marketing?
Consumer maturity and deafening around the volume of marketing, right? So with the maturity of the internet, if you think about where did you see information pre-iPhone, right? Pre-social media. And of course, being a bit older and starting in the early 90s, it was the traditional TV,
radio,
print, blah, blah, blah.
billboard. Yeah.
Well, now you're getting bombarded constantly, so it's harder to stand out, right?
Even you don't even know it anymore.
Yeah.
Now, like, you're subconsciously, constantly, like, everything you do, the data that, like, we're being tracked. Everything. If you have a phone on you and you didn't turn off the data,
the
options,
everything,
like, you're being followed. You're being, like, everything you do, your behavior is being used to market to you.
Right. And so that volume right now, it's very hard to stand out. And so little tricks or gimmicks or, something that's like, oh, only right now. And you're like, yeah, right. It's going to come back in 6 months. I'll just, whatever. If I'm around to it. And by the way, it's not just food and beverage. It's retail. It's every segment within retail. It's all the new ways to order things. It's just constant. And so I just don't think that trick makes sense. Because it's not going to resonate. There has to be a connecting point. There has to be a plug-in.
Yeah, you start getting,
and that's not going to do it anymore.
You started talking about story, and basically what I was hoping would, it's coming out, but this idea that we're, as marketers and as we learn more about human behavior and the science of humans and how we are, why we are the way we are, how we tick, what's going on internally, the power of story and really pulling on the strings of hearts and getting people to identify with specific things. So if you know who your target market is and you know what appeals to them, you can tell a narrative that will help really, like, get that specific person that has the same values and the things that are important to you or are important to them. Is conscious capitalism and leaning into that, right?
Yeah, conscious capitalism, I think, is one of the words that is starting to be understood a little bit more. Again, it comes back to recognizing humans are humans, and to motivate humans, you have to connect with them on a more meaningful level than. Now, to say that is that's the long tail. That's the make a connection, make a long time, lifetime value customer more valuable to your business. Convenience and removing friction is still first, right? Making it easy, making it fast, making it consistent. Those are the things we all still care about at the highest level. But beyond that, once you've met that, once there's a trust relationship built there, that is understood and I can rely on those elements, it's that, and then it really comes down to, and now it's then what, right? So now it's like, so what beyond that? Because everybody, it's going to become a commodity, right? McDonald's and fast food, like, that's a commodity in that it's predictable and it's consistent. Quality, regardless of what somebody thinks. Sometimes you'll just settle because it's the only choice, or it's the fastest choice, or it's the least friction between you and what you need to do. But in the consumer that kind of wants to take a beat and think about it for a minute, there's got to be more there, right? Okay, yes, it's fast. Yes, it's close. Yes, I can get it delivered. It's convenient. It's pretty consistent. I know what I like there. I can get that when I am in the mood for that, or if I need it, I know what I'm going to get from that. And then it's then what? So who are they really? What is their motivation? What do they care about? Why do they exist? What are they doing? Like, am I hurting the environment? Am I helping my community by supporting them? Those now become part of the conversation, sort of as the second tier, but the more important tier, the more important piece of it, because that's what drives long-term relationships. Because if somebody does exactly what you do, but then they also do these other things that people care about and want to connect with and want to support, now they're going to win. Now you're vulnerable.
So you need both sides of it. And like, I think that there is a lot of our market was built on this idea of easy, fast, and consistent value added. And I think that that's important because, yeah, you do need to create a path of least resistance, obviously, but at what cost?
Right.
And I think we kind of reached this point of, like, can we still make this a priority? Is fast, easy, and convenient the most important thing? And if it is, should that be the case? Like, should we change it? Should consciousness take a little bit more of a center stage of, like, is this what's best for everybody? Is this what's best for our environment? I think that's starting to kind of bounce out a little bit.
It is. And, quite frankly, I don't think most people really realize it, but one of my favorite examples of this is Sweetgreen.
Yeah.
And why did Sweetgreen come on so hard, so fast, so big? Why is there such a connection and a loyalty there? What's really going on? And when you really look at it, it's like, yeah, all of that solved, all convenience and location, and we're going to have outposts, and we're just going to make that easy. That's let's really talk about what we're trying to do here. We're trying to support regional and seasonal ingredients. We're trying to do foods that are good for the environment in regards to, no pesticides, no GMOs, those kinds of stories that they're trying to tell. They really do a great job of telling the human side. Who works at a Sweet Greens and why are they here? They're not here for a job, they're here for a mission, right? And so really selling the mission and that total vision of inclusivity and diversity with the humans, with the food, with the support of the local farmer. They've really put a package together and said, oh, by the way, and you can get it anywhere you want, really fast, really consistent. You can build what you want. We're going to have fresh new ideas based on the seasons changing. All that's going to be great. The only limiting factor is do you want salad, right? Or do you want a quinoa bowl, or do you want so innovation is going to always have to be on their roadmap of what can we do to kind of change it up and give people more variety. But man, they've done such a great job with that full package and really focusing on what I think today's consumer, and realize, if you build something today, a new brand, a new concept, a new venue model, et cetera, you're really building it for who your customer is 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah. It's not a this or that being easy, fast, convenient, or thoughtful, impactful, conscious. It's yes and.
It has to be and.
Yeah.
Yes.